Hi, welcome to You've Got This. I'm Sabrina Trobak with Trobak Holistic Counselling, and this is video number 7 for kids. And what we're going to be talking about today is anger. So anger is actually not a standalone emotion. What that means is we often use anger as a way to try to push down or suppress other emotions that we don't necessarily want to feel. Emotions that are underneath anger are things like anxiety, rejection, lonely, betrayal, fear, unheard, unloved, sad, self-doubt, vulnerability, and it also can be our core beliefs of feeling not good enough, not important, or not valued. We generally don't like to feel these emotions, so rather than feeling these emotions, we push it down and go to anger. Anger is an emotion that we're more comfortable or more okay to feel because anger has been more acceptable for generations. With anger, there's a bit of a cycle that goes through. What happens is we start with the explosion where the anger happens, then it's followed by the honeymoon stage. And this is where there's just a bit of a sense of relief. Everyone feels a bit calmer, the anger's over with, people kind of connect a little bit more and feel okay. But then daily life starts happening again. And that stress builds and builds and builds and builds. And then there's some sort of a trigger, whatever it might be, and the explosion happens again. The trigger can be anything. And we often see families running around and trying to make sure the triggers that have happened in the past don't happen again. But there can always be a trigger. That's because what keeps the cycle of anger going isn't actually the trigger. It's the emotion that's building over time. With every experience we have, there's emotion that builds. And if that emotion builds and builds and builds, we need something to be able to use to be able to get angry and try to release some of that emotion. So rather than trying to prevent triggers and not have any of the triggers happen, what we really need to do is focus more on letting out and sorting through the emotions. The better we get at being able to feel and acknowledge our emotions and let them out, the less we need anger to push it down. If we have a situation happens where we get in a fight with a friend and we feel sad and lonely and depressed and scared, rather than getting angry, if we are just okay to feel these emotions, the anger doesn't have to happen. So we can manage and control these cycles by allowing ourselves to feel and acknowledge emotion and let it out rather than holding it in and trying to suppress it. That's all for today. Have a good summer, and remember, you got this.